Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone, everywhere, depending on where and when you are watching. Today is another beautiful day in Zamunda, wherever you are. And we will be discussing self-employment and entrepreneurship. With the economy such as it is, can you afford to be self-employed and entrepreneurial? Maybe this pandemic was, or maybe it is, just the kick in the pants you needed to thrust you out onto your own, from under the cover and the thumb of a boss to being your own boss. Here's food for thought. What would you desire to do if you knew that you would not and could not fail? If you had all the finances and the resources that you needed, what would you desire to do with your life? I am your co-host, Ambassador Lisa Parks, and welcome to Africaonline TV. And our guest today is a business development and investment specialist. Now, if you're tuning in on Facebook and you want to join the conversation, join us on Zoom with the ID 514-199-854. And now for the editorial with my co-host, Nia-san. Take it away.
Greetings and welcome. It is 12/12/21. December 12, 2021. It is the 50th Sunday of 2021 on the 51st week of 2021. Warm greetings from all of us at Africaonline Media Corporation to all of you out there. Today, as we said, December 12 is the 346th day of the year. We therefore have just 19 days, would you imagine, less than 3 weeks to go before 2021 is history. The next time you can reuse the 2021 calendar will be in 2027. Both calendars will be exactly the same. Wow. So check me out in 2027 and see if I'm right.
That's an interesting thought and fact.
That said, today is the 82nd day of fall. So Ambassador Lisa, as I always say, we'll be having winter in just 9 days. For today, we have 2 international days to observe, and they are both United Nations observances. Today, International Day of Neutrality seeks to strengthen peace and security in appropriate regions and at a global level. This day aims to develop peaceful, friendly, and mutually beneficial relationships between different countries of the world. It was officially declared by the United Nations General Assembly Resolution of February 2017 and first observed that year on December 12, 2017, that is. The other day, the International Universal Health Coverage Day, UHC Day, seeks to raise awareness about the need for strong health systems and universal health coverage. This day aims to promote the idea that everyone everywhere should have access to quality, affordable health care. It encourages countries to accelerate their progress toward universal health care. That is, it is a noble thing to seek universal health care, but even more noble to pursue a career path that does not just put bread on the table, but enables the beneficiary to be self-employed or totally self-reliant. As we configured the topic for today's broadcast, 2 words stared unblinkingly at us: entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism. Yes, that one is long and hard to say. And as we nosed around for what that all means, something struck us: entrepreneurship, you can say so, you can say entrepreneurialism. But while entrepreneurship is the art of science of innovation and risk-taking for profit in business, entrepreneurialism is the spirit or state of acting in an entrepreneurial manner. We boiled it all down to self-employment. make it easy, isn't it, for everyone? It all comes down to one thing, that is pursuing a career path, which co-host Ambassador Lisa just mentioned a while ago. All along, we posit that career paths may point us to specific jobs and careers everywhere in the world. But along the way, an individual can decide to go solo, pursuing a path that challenges his intellectual or his skills, his intellectual ability or his skills. It is that pursuit that leads the bold, the ambitious, and the strong-willed to that self-employment that helps them, or that helps him or her, we're talking both genders, to conceive and carry out a project that provides long-term employment. It is entrepreneurialism, or the ability to start and run one's own business, that we are talking about. Yes, it is the enterprising spirit, the enterprising search for change, the confident response to such change, and the readiness to exploit every available opportunity that ensures success for that spirit of entrepreneurship. So what would it take, or what does it take to start and run one's own business? Is self-employment or entrepreneurialism something you want to do or to go into? Join Africaonline Media Corporation and the guests and our guests, that is not just the guests, our guests, to discuss the pros and cons of self-employment and or entrepreneurialism. One never knows, but it could turn out to be the silver lining in the wide world of trying your own hand at something you love, something you dreamt about, something you cherish. It is up to each of us, as one of our returning guests mentioned last week, to not just earn a paper certificate, but to go above and beyond to make sure that that certificate does not just open doors, but actually lets you into the complex world of business and business ventures. Yes, it is up to you and I to go into the business world and to make sure that we make it home with a capital H, that will make the business we pursue home. So we will turn over to Houston, where we have a permanent home anyway. We're not paying any rent for that. To our chairperson, Reverend Pam, to welcome all of us and to let us begin this discussion on self-employment. Are you self-employed? Do you intend to be self-employed? It's never too late. Reverend Pam, over to you.
Thank you so much, Asong, and I can't wait for 2027 because we're going to have a show and reference this show. Thank you so much for all you do. You rock. You still rock our world. And of course, my beautiful sister, we decided to come up with a different pair of glasses today, and an amazing background as usual. Sister Ruth Presley, you're welcome. I see our brother, Reverend Michael from last week. I thought I was seeing double, but I think you were using two devices. So
yes, I switched to
I do wear glasses, so I thought my eyes were playing games, with me. I don't like to use my glasses. I only use it when I'm either driving or watching TV. But thank you again for accepting the invitation to come on today and talk to us about entrepreneurship and being self-employed. I personally have been self-employed since I believe 2000. And I want to welcome our brother Joseph. I'm not sure what your title is, so please forgive me. All protocols observed. You are warmly welcome. To our, of course, our sister Ruth Presley. You are part of us. Your background says Falala. I can't wait to hear about that background. And I want to welcome all our viewers. I have not turned on my camera for about 2 weeks now, and Ambassador Lisa was threatening a protest, so I decided to turn on my camera today. This topic is very special to me. I do have a lot of experience with business, being self-employed, and also consulting for other business people. But I will pass on the mic to our Ambassador Lisa, to introduce our guest. I know he was on last week, but it was for a different topic. And at the top of the hour, Ambassador, if you have the information on Lieutenant Kishan, his promotion, we'll also like to do a shout out to him. He was on this show last week. Tell him I say he got that promotion because he was on the show last week. So over to you, Ambassador Lisa.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. We are so grateful that we get to see your face this week. 2 weeks in a row without seeing you is just, it is just ungodly.
You're right. It won't happen again.
Yeah, last week we were talking about careers and the career paths and what it takes to go on those career paths. And one of our guests was just such a delight that we decided that we wanted to do a continuation in a different vein, but a continuation of that show. And we asked Reverend Michael if he would come back and join us this week. He just needs to make a little adjustments over there. He had to travel because he had to preach this morning. So he had to travel from his home to another city in, I think the same state, but another city. And so he's in transition over there. But we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and self-employment. What does it take? How do you go about it? It's such a scary thought for most of us to think about leaving the security of our jobs, or at least what we used to be secure in our jobs. Now, no job is secure. So like I said, this pandemic may be a good chance for you to, kick you right on out there into entrepreneurship and being your own boss, setting your own hours. And there's so many help wanted signs everywhere. Every restaurant, every store has help wanted signs. And we're like, well, where are all the people? Did they decide to go into entrepreneurship for themselves during this pandemic? We're going to explore those things today. We are talking to our friends here in America, plus those that are on the continent of Africa as well, and wherever they are watching. So we're talking about entrepreneurship everywhere, all over the place. So we're going to, I was hoping Reverend Michael would be back, but so Ruthie, how are you?
Good afternoon.
It's good to see you. You are an entrepreneur as well.
Yes, it's good to be here as always.
Thank you so much.
The fa la 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 is a background from a party that we had yesterday. It's just one of the a Christmas carol for "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly." Fa la 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 la. And yes, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. Growing up with such a large family, we had to find a way to get those things that we wanted. And as young as the age of 8, I was raking leaves, cleaning bathrooms, polishing silver, doing what I had to do to make them to earn money. And I believe that I believe you said that people are looking for something new and something different because the employment is not secure anymore. People used to work for 40 years, retire, get a pension and all that. And that's not the way it is these days. And also the pandemic opened up our eyes to other ways of earning income. So that's all I have.
So what are you doing as a self-employed entrepreneur at the moment?
At the moment, I deal with nutrition. I have a company known as Love Yourself Healthy. I teach people about nutrition, and I'm also part of a MLM, a multi-level marketing company as well, that also teaches nutrition.
Thank you. Ronald, welcome to Africaonline.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know why you're here because I invited you, but tell us a little bit about what you're doing. If you are an entrepreneur, looking to be an entrepreneur.
Well, presently, I am attending Strayer University, the campus in Philadelphia, Center City, to earn a degree in business administration with a concentration in finance. Hopefully, I took that course because I wanted to be able to read financial statements of public companies so that I can invest in them probably as an IPO, initial public offering, and then also invest more money to where I can be like a venture capitalist to help them to grow and to earn a profit from it. So that's basically in a nutshell what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully you'll get some ideas from our guest speaker this afternoon, Reverend Michael Bannerman Hyde, who is a business development and investment specialist. And I forgot all about that because I was running around here looking for an investment specialist to ask some questions. And here I had him right in my own back pocket and didn't even use him. But that is not going to be the case after today. So welcome again, Michael. We're so glad to have you with us 2 weeks in a row. You were an exciting guest last week, and this week you have the floor. So talk to us about being an entrepreneur. I forgot, was it Hyde Finances? Was your financial company, or is your financial company? I know there was something else that you were doing. I thought you were going to talk about that last week and you didn't. So you're still doing that tea business or not? But let's talk to us about what it is that you're doing as an entrepreneur and how can we move in that direction?
Okay, I think Reverend Palmer or somebody just indicated. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We're hearing you.
well.
Okay, I am in my guest house, so I was trying to position myself as a guest.
Okay. Actually, okay, your lights just came on because we couldn't see. If you don't need a few minutes, this show is unscripted. If you need a few minutes to get settled, we'll give you a few minutes.
I'm fine. If you can see me, that's fine. And also, forgive me for a little bit. I had to travel to
That's okay.
Montgomery County, had a long service, and then tried to doze a little bit, and then I just timed myself to 4 to 10. Then I started scrambling to put everything together. But I like this platform because it's unscripted. So
yes.
It allows a free flow of information. Yes, I have been, I would say, 75% of my life has been as an entrepreneur, working for myself. The brief time that even I was employed, quote unquote, I was working for the Ivory Coast government as a business development and investment specialist in Washington, D.C. So as a Ghanaian, I was to shape the country's private sector. And the late President Gbagbo Builder, we put a proposal together. My boss was a former Ambassador Kokora, Pascal Kokora. So we were trying to move the Ivorian economy into a full stream private sector led economy. That was our task. And the president was generous enough to set under the presidency a budget, a yearly budget of nearly probably, I think, $500,000 a year to employ a team and put together all the structures and infrastructure for Ivory Coast to transition so that the youth will be gainfully employed based upon the areas that they wanted to bring themselves to. And there was a lot of areas that the former president charged us to develop. We developed 13 targeted industries under agriculture. And then we started mobilizing the women into cooperatives for them to be productive. So it has been a journey working for myself. Of course, my contract ended when the government ended, and I went back to the waters that I swam best, being an entrepreneur and working for myself. It's not been an easy task, especially trying to focus on bringing the best of everybody. And those of us who are Africans, you know how our mothers and our grandmothers used to hawk. We call it the hawkers, or the market traders. And then, they didn't go to business school, but trust me, they can account for every penny that comes in and that goes out.
Just a second, Michael, excuse me. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but we can't see you. The light.
Exactly.
The light comes on and goes. So that's the challenge that I have.
Are you in Africa?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Are you in Africa?
No, he's in Maryland.
Wherever you are in Maryland, they're probably using electricity supplied by some of our governments back there.
That's perfect. Right where you are, we can see you now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was saying, so if you ask me, it has been a long journey. Okay, my background is in, I did a degree in international marketing and branding.
Okay.
That is marketing and branding is what my specialty has been. But along the years, I have grown interested in shifting to investment finance. And it was very needful because I used to live in London, and then I moved to the US from London. And once I started actually working with the embassy, that's how the portfolio changed, into investment banking, where we had to attend meetings at the IFC, International Finance Corporation, World Bank, and then other institutional lenders, Wall Street. We had to just take the cocoa farmers and then try to just get them in front of the Chamber of Commerce, for Cocoa Federation and all that. So that broadened my aspect, because for everything that you have to do as entrepreneurs, if you are telling somebody to invest or become an entrepreneur, it goes with money. But along the years or so, it has become necessary to not hone in on money alone, but good ideas are always going to attract money.
Okay.
So how do you refine the idea? And I also have realized that everybody, I mean, forget about their educational background, forget about what everybody has a dream. And that is what has been missing almost every time, that people can die with their dreams. I think I just heard Mr. Joseph, is that Ronald? I mean, with his educational background, he wanted to just shift and go to university, business school, and be able to do investment finance and try to read,
Financial statements.
Financial statement. And it's a very critical area. In fact, I hire people to do financial modeling because that is not my background. I can read very well, perfectly know the statements and how you can extract the feasibility, the viability, and the profitability of every business, the ROI and then RRI. I can do all that, but when it comes to actually crunching the figures, I just lift my hands and I say, okay, this should be Roland doing that. And many a time, that is when you have been able to move from the fundamentals. How do you put your ideas together? How do you concisely present an elevator pitch? If somebody asks you, what do you want to do? What is this business for? In order not to lose a person, can you just say the highlights or high points of your business for the person to just follow you? So, okay, I think I'm interested. That has been the elusive part of business, and that is where a lot of people get discouraged. That I don't know what to do. I have this idea. I have this business in me. It is just something that I am impregnated with. I have this vision in my heart. I want to be this. I want to do that. I want to do that. But the moment the person tells somebody who does not have the fundamental ability to build the building blocks, the person, oh, come on, he looks at you, listen to your idea, and immediately they discourage you. So people are just, moving around with so many things. And our duty is to put things together to check the box. Does this person have the tenacity, the ability, and then the fortitude to actually go through the grinding stages of putting the foundation together? That is where a lot of people lose sight and lose hope, because to decide to move from a regular employment by monthly salary, whether it's sufficient or not, at least you can put the lights on You can put gas into your car. You live to become very comfortable, albeit very difficult. You cannot become a millionaire working for somebody. That is a fact. And many people who branch to become millionaires or dream to become millionaires have to actually be told that as long as you work for somebody and you depend upon somebody to cut the check, you can never be a millionaire. Either you win the lottery, which is 1 in a million, chances, or God will bless you with an idea which time has come, or a niche where competition is limited. Because you cannot even sell Coca-Cola nowadays and become a millionaire, because there are a whole lot of people who sell Coca-Cola. So your idea has to be refined in a way where it is a solution looking for a problem, in a reverse manner. You see a little problem, but you have a solution, and then everybody will be drawn to that. So I have, over the years, advised both small and big corporations, especially those who wanted to go to Africa. When I was with the Ivory Coast Embassy, every time I have to fight a negative notion about Africa being corrupt, for example. And then I came up with the fact that they didn't know I knew about K Street. And I knew all that goes on with the big pharmaceuticals and the big banks and how they can influence legislature and then put money into campaign. So I had to just let them know that yours is also bribery. You are bribing Congress people to vote for
They call it lobbying. They call it lobbying.
Loving. I hate loving.
I know. They call it lobbying because they have put a lipstick on the pig.
Exactly.
So and then they froze because that was a big conference we did in Baltimore. And I told them in their face that, so don't tell us that someone who is in parliament in Africa, who has used his own money to, campaign, that we don't have campaign, funds. And then you come from outside and you want the government to give you a lucrative contract and you don't even adopt a village. You don't adopt. So my thing is that I think whether you are in Africa or you are in the US, business is business. We have Africans who have transitioned, have become international business people. And then we have Americans also who have become a global, giant. It all begins with your vision and your dream and how you can build the building blocks. So I'm open for questions. Briefly, this is what I have to get. Nowadays, what I do is that if I listen to you, I can just put together your business ideas in a 2-page business plan. That is a unique thing that is never done mostly. People don't know about it, but that is the immediate thing that anybody, if you can capture your dream in a 2-page or your vision in a 2-page, everybody will be willing to read within 5 minutes.
I like that.
Okay, I need to weigh in. First of all, Reverend Mike, I have a complaint. I called you last week. You didn't call me back. I'm still waiting for your call. You probably did not know.
What number is that? Forgive me. Forgive me.
I will tell you later. I don't want to publish my number, my cell phone number on this.
That's
call.
okay, but forgive me.
It's a 713 number. I will call you after the show.
I didn't know it was you. I didn't answer.
That's fine. I need to speak with you about branding. I will ask you a question, but I want to share because I'm an entrepreneur also. You talked about a dream. There has to be a driving force, a motivation, something from within that pushes you to become self-employed. Because like you said, paychecks don't cut it. Paychecks are not enough. And the thing with paychecks is that most of the time, you get them if you do your job. As an entrepreneur, you don't work, you don't get paid. Sometimes you work a lot, the money still don't come. You pay everybody and there's nothing left for you. And a lot of people are happy owning businesses, but they don't pay themselves. They pay all the bills. Sometimes they take money from the bills to pay their personal bills, but they think they are making it. They're not making it. They are suffering. I met with a client yesterday. Oh, by the way, my background is clinical pharmacy, but I actually am a business consultant. And somebody was talking about reading financial statements. I took a managerial accounting just because I wanted to know how to read a balance sheet or income statement or cash flow statements. And one of those people, I don't like to depend on, I'm not trying to do everything. I have an accountant, but a very good one that I want to know. And in this day and age, we have what they call open educational sources out there, access. You can go, thanks to former President Barack Obama, you can go on the internet and find information, scholarly articles, peer-reviewed articles on any topic that you want. And I'll encourage every business person to take some kind of business enrichment course. It doesn't matter how profitable you think you've been, you'll become more profitable if you know how to cut down on your overhead. I meet clients all the time. I'll give you an example. I met with a client yesterday who spent more than $100,000 building out a pharmacy in a building that she doesn't own. I told her, I said, I set up the same thing for you for about less than 10,000.
Yes.
You don't go spend money building out a building that you don't own, because someday that lease is going to be over and you're actually just throwing money to the landlord. So I really enjoy doing business consultation, even though mostly it's in the healthcare arena. But a lot of our people think they are actually doing well when they are suffering. So what I want you to talk to our viewers, especially our people on the continent and here, is exactly the importance of paying themselves, valuing their time. And I'll give you another example. Someone back on the continent used to buy some merchandise. I won't say what, because I don't know who's watching this show. If I say it specifically, they will know that I'm talking about them. I don't want anybody attacking me. I want to enjoy my Christmas, but I'm just trying to make a point. So I'm using it as an analogy. They were buying a device, an appliance, for about 10,000, let's just say $10, and selling it for $15, actually $13. And they were so proud of themselves that they were making profit. I told this person, I said, not only are you not making profit, you're losing money. I said, what about your time? What about your gasoline? What about the storage? What about the rent? What about the electricity, utility, phone? I said, you need to deduct all that from this thing. Don't just look at what you think you are making. That's not even profit. It's not even 100% of what your gross income is, not even 100%, and you're talking about making money. So a lot of the times our people don't value their time. They don't value their time. So I want you, first of all, to talk to them about the importance of paying themselves, and also understanding that, what person A went through with their business is not the same roadmap for you. So I want you to address those two things, Reverend Michael.
Okay. That is on assumption that somebody already is running their business. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
The first question is for somebody running their business. The second question is for somebody trying to go into business. So the first one is somebody running their business, the importance of paying them. Well, actually, the person that has not even, when they are preparing their business plan, they need to incorporate or make room for their own salary. If you don't pay yourself, then you are enslaving yourself, and slavery is over.
Right.
Amen.
I think, Madam, Reverend Pat, what you are saying is very right. Many people actually are oblivious to the fact that, good entrepreneurs are those who are disciplined. Yes. And discipline begins with when you know that as you're starting the business, as you put in all your basic costs, because if you were working for somebody and then you were having $4,000 a month, that is all that you get. You're building your budget based upon that $4,000. That is maybe your last employment. So many business people, as soon as they get their own business, they forget that I used to work and I used to get $2,500, $3,000, and then I was not starving, but I was making money at least, but I couldn't save much. So building your cost, the business called or capital input, that has to always come. You have to be a paid person. You have to cut your own check, and then the check has to be strictly applied to you. What you used to earn, or the comfort of maybe you have a 1,200 mortgage. You want that to be covered from the business. You know, you want your gasoline, you want your TNT. Everything has to come within that budget. And then until you begin declaring profits.
Yes.
And if you are not in partnership or you don't have an equity contributor, then you can determine, I'm going to just, you know, pay myself for doing good job for 25% of the net profit and pulling the 75% back into the business so that there will be a continuity. Yes, that issue is most of the time with people of African descent.
Mhm.
We have borrowed that culture from home, that if I'm a businessman, I can walk into the store and then ask the salesperson, how much sales have you got? Say, give me 10,000. Then you just drive up. So when there is a hitch along the line, many people just actually lose their business. But the best business idea is when you sit down and then whoever is supporting you, if yourself alone, you have to put yourself on a strict budgetary discipline.
Mhm.
That is number one. Without that, nobody can put in, even when you are going to borrow money from somebody, you don't have to borrow in exactly the amount of money that you need for the business. You have to build in at least a 6 months minimum of production run or cost of business operation. You have to a minimum of 6 months, whereby every 6 months everything can be done until the business starts doing at least a little turnover. Then you can have a breather. But most of the time, I agree with you, Reverend Pat. Many people don't think it is necessary. It is necessary. A good business person is the one who is disciplined. And then when we come to people trying to do their own business, number one, I get put down something. That's why I switched from my laptop to the cell phone so that I can read some of the things that I teach people. Do something that you love.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes.
When you try to copy something that somebody is doing, you always are going to fail.
You'll be miserable.
You'll be miserable.
Mhm.
Do something you love, because
Do
when
something
you're
you
doing
love.
something you love, it is, you always wake up with a passion.
Yeah.
Immediately, it's not about I want to make $1 million.
Mm-mm.
I'm satisfying this inner yearning. That's
Exactly.
something that I want to become. Because the Taiwanese have this kind of proverb: money will follow good things. That's what the old proverbial thing with the people of Taiwan. It said, when you have something good, money will follow something good. Money will not follow something bad. So as you put in everything, and then you begin to just develop that idea, and once it becomes marketable, people will buy it because it will be answering, it will be solving some problems. First of all, you have to have something that can solve a need, that can solve a need. So one, doing something you like, and then doing your own business also calls for more flexibility. For example, sometimes I don't feel like waking up. Maybe when I'm sick, I'm not panicking. If I have to do 10,000 things in the night, I can do all of them in the night, and then take a little bit break during the day, and then make sure that I come back. You have more flexibility. But if you do like business consulting, discipline is something that is so important. Entrepreneurship, it comes with discipline. We are compelled to go to work, and so we don't have any choice. We run, and then we just try to just beat up our blood pressure because we are late. But if you have your own business, you must be willing to put in extra hours.
Yes.
Before people wake up, you have 5 o'clock. That is the beginning. If you are able to do that, once the business stabilizes, you will be able to now have a flexible time, whereby at least you have assistant, somebody that you train, people can know what they have to do. So the second thing is that you gain more flexibility when you become your own boss or you do your own business. And then the third thing I want to talk about is some people like me, I love to do things differently, especially when I'm in an organization. See, but a structured organization will not allow outside creativity to come in. You can just be the best worker by staying late and then turning out quality job based upon the format that has been laid down in the corporation. But you cannot introduce any creative ideas. it has to go through the system management, and some how dare you, this person coming to teach us what we have been doing maybe 10 years. So you'll be stifled by your own creativity. That is one of the good things about if you're a creative person, doing your own business actually expands that creativity. Somebody was talking about something and I said, listen, nobody taught Jacob how to crossbreed. He felt cheated in his uncle's house, and then he felt cheated, and then the Lord gave me the vision. Okay, cut the steak, and then in stripe and put it in water. And when they are coming to drink, they look at their image in it, and then they will begin to just go and mate. It was a divine thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that he had to distinguish his own flock. So by the time they saw, he had spotted flocks that were over and above that of his uncle. Creativity is what is important. That earned Joseph a place in the palace. Every time there is a problem, you have to think outside the box to be able to provide solutions. And once you're able to do that, people will always come to you for your ideas. And it doesn't come easy. I think that part is a gift of God. Somebody that really is creative is something that God has given him. And you can just turn things around in a way where people become excited about, wow, I didn't even know that this existed. And that is how you can always get people to just tap into that your creative mindset. And sometimes also you want to spend more time with their family. Those that are trying to climb the corporate ladder, sometimes they come home with all the files because there's a deadline, and then the wife doesn't have that attention. Lock themselves up in the study room because they have to just finish that and then do a presentation the following day, travel across the nation. Sometimes when you are doing your own business, you can begin to develop time that you can spend with your family because you are spaced out. You are not responsible to anybody who is putting pressure to yourself. So I'll just stop here. These are the 5 things that I always teach. What are some of the 5 motivational things for becoming a small business owner? And that is where sometimes I start people to just let them know that one, you can just you have to just look at what you love. Number 2, if you need more flexibility in life, then you have to be thinking about becoming an entrepreneur so that you can just put things together. And then 3, you do what you love. You want to become a key decision maker. Once you are able to you have that kind of maybe gift inside of you that, I need to just put my decision making on this. I have a friend that I am doing something in Cumberland, and everything that he does, because I found the land for him, is a big recycling thing that I negotiated with the county. Everything that he does, he has to just call me. I was thinking about this. He's a Ghanaian. I said, yes. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do it. But he makes decision and then pull all the white people, and I say, this is how I'm going to do it. I say, stand your ground. We are bringing employment to the community. And so he told me, he said, I can't believe myself, excuse me to say, that looking about 5 employees, white people, standing there and every morning giving them instruction. I said, because you had it inside of you, and once you demonstrate that leadership, they will look beyond your color because now their livelihood is in your hands. And you treat them nicely, they're going to forget about you being white, you being black. So I think that sometimes making good decisions, people look at you and see the leadership in you, the leader in you, and they will follow when you are able to give distinct, inspiring decision. So
can I just jump in real quick? I want to just add a caveat to what Reverend Michael said so that some of our people don't misread this or think it's a bed of roses. We all know that to get to the rose, you have to go through some thorns. What he's talking about, flexibility with self-employment, that's when you have made it. I can tell you, when you work for yourself, a lot of the times you don't have that flexibility. You don't open, you don't eat, you lose customers. So please understand what he's referring to about as flexibility. So there are business owners that can't even go out on a date with their spouse. They are so busy, you know. And then one other thing I would like to add before I hand back over to the anchors to weigh in or ask questions for our other guests is that, you know, don't do any business that you have to totally depend on somebody else to survive.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. For more than 20 years, people have been literally begging me to open a restaurant because my food is dangerous. However, dangerously delicious. That's what I mean. I know that I don't, as much as I love cooking, because I was never in the kitchen growing up, so maybe I'm just making up for that time. I don't have the time. Yes. I do not have the time to run a restaurant. Yeah. So I am not going to open that business because I will not be able to do what I want done. I'm a perfectionist. So the fact that you know how to do something, or people are asking you to do something, doesn't mean you should do it. No. Are you available? Can you afford the time? I can tell you, I mean, I don't like prepping. But once the prepping is done, putting the stuff together, oh, I'm in cloud 20. So I'm just giving that as an example. So the fact that people are telling you, open this, do this, that doesn't mean you need to not just only have the zeal and the passion or the driving force. You need to make sure, do your due diligence. Start with the internal due diligence before even the external. Are you able, if I open a restaurant, I want to go there, even if I have a restaurant manager, I want to make sure that the floor is clean. Nothing, I don't like to see stuff on the floor. That everything is on the counter. I just cannot afford it. They even try to get me to do catering. I don't even have the time, period. I don't, because if I'm going to do catering, I want to make sure the food is well presented. It's not just about being cooking and delivering it. I want to make sure that it is delivered to the client, you know, in the best form, presented in the best form. So I just wanted to mention that sometimes people go into business because people are advising them. Yes. No. They are not you. You know, so I just wanted to add those 2 points. Let me hand over to Niaso.
Thank you very much, Reverend Pam. Thank you, Reverend Michael, for that insightful talk about what to do. Actually, I wish I had seen or known you a few years back because
it's never late.
For full disclosure, I'm in a partnership with friends. We went into business. We actually started 5 months ago. I've not been there since we started. So it is the 3 of them who are in healthcare, who are more involved than myself, who is the talkative journalist.
Silent partner.
So
he is silent money man.
As I say in my dialect, I realized that I was sitting by the river, but washing my face with my spittle. Reverend Pam,
that is deep. That is deep.
I never consulted Reverend Pam. Now I see Reverend Michael telling us some of the things, some of the hurdles we have to go through to be able to start. But then I'm learning and I continue to learn.
I take that personal. I am hurt. That you didn't even think to call me, and you know I'm a businesswoman.
Yes. Okay.
You're gonna make up by sponsoring a borehole. Tell your business partner, Ambassador Lisa, we need him and his business partners to sponsor a borehole. Over to you. Back to you. I'm sorry.
That being said, Brother Ronald, he has been quiet for a while. I mean, are you into business yourself? I think I didn't follow you attentively at the beginning. If you are, what will you tell somebody else out there who is dreaming, who is itching to start something for themselves? I know both you and Reverend Michael will address that question.
Okay, Reverend, go first if you want to.
Okay. I believe that a person needs to believe in themselves, have confidence in themselves, and get the knowledge that they need in order to open a business, and be very specific. Have a list of ideas, but also be able to do them in sequential order, but also to be able to, how can I say, to be able to accomplish their goals and look forward towards them. Also, what I have been working in the private sector and also the government sector for approximately 20 years. I used to work for the federal government as a clerk typist and a data transcriber. And I liked it the way they was organized in the federal government. Then I moved on to the insurance industry and worked as a claim administrator and claim examiner, where I used to be able and have access to approximately $1 million a day that was going from the claims department to the finance department to other people and paying them, issuing checks and all that, making sure everything was right. So then I decided that I wanted to go into business for myself. So what I thought, I said, well, I don't like too much to be too involved in a lot of detail. So what I would do is invest in another company. So what I did was save enough money to invest in like Microsoft and other stock companies and public companies. But then I said I would like to get into an initial public offering, get on the bottom floor in order to gain more profit. So that's where I'm at now. And that's why I took business administrations with finance.
Thank you. Reverend Michael.
Reverend Michael.
Okay. I believe that the first thing that many people miss is to capture the ideas. You see, the mind works in a velocity that, you know, it shifts from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. And what I have developed and then observed and made it practical, when I meet people who really are not too much into the word, I don't bring that aspect. But Habakkuk talks about the vision is for appointed time, even though Italy, wait for it.
Wait for it.
Yes, or write it on the tablet, 2, 3, the writing on the tablet. And then
make it plain.
A runner will just run with it. We are the runners, we are the ones who take it and then run with it. The investor is the one who will make it work. I think the concept of even the 10 Commandments being written on the tablet wasn't just a coincidence. Sometimes people think their ideas remain in their head forever. As you age like me, you are not going to remember everything.
You're a young man. You're a young man. Don't say that.
Yeah, but the point is that I always have a journal beside my bed. Apart from, when I have any ideas, I write it down. I mean, no matter how it is. And some of them, I refine it along the time. I have folders of business ideas and business things that, I know that I keep them for maybe somebody who needs the help. But I believe that the most difficult thing along the years that I've observed, the most difficult thing is people trying to, in their own simple ways, writing down half a paragraph or what they think or what they are feeling, or so that somebody can say, okay, you know what, we can expand this and then make it better. We can just do this and make it better. So I try to just form people from where they are or meet them from where they are and help them refine the idea that they have. And within a matter of time, when we have 2 or 3 or 4 consultations, I can get the Lord will just bless me to just let them see the big picture. So in strategic planning, sometimes reverse engineering is always the biggest thing.
Yes.
You in 5 years, where do you want to be? Just look at yourself in the next 5 years. Then you come back to start it so that you can meet your goals. Recently, I had a clubhouse, event, and I just threw the topic: if money wasn't a problem, what would you like to do? And everybody was like, I said, no, just focus on your idea. If money wasn't your issue, there's a ton of money waiting for you. Tell me what it is that you really want to do, and let's take it from there. And I realized that there was a lady in New York, like a Reverend Pat. They have been cooking, she and her mom, and then getting these catering things to funerals and christening. And so she came on with 2 or 3 panels. The other lady is from California, has all these big people, Les Brown and everything at his side, and conference people. Then we decided, okay, what is the best thing for you to do if you want to just now take it from where you are? You got to start, YouTube is there. We started giving her ideas. Start cooking. Whenever you are cooking, just put together and then let the video show that in the kitchen.
Yes.
And begin to just put it there. A simple website with your menu. Some people can go there and then order the food. And he said, once you begin to, you don't go and rent, just like Reverend Pat was saying, you don't go and rent about a 5-year lease and then put in all the gadgets, and then you don't know whether you'll be successful or not, and then you put in all this money, and then you are unable to do that. You grow exponentially from the kitchen, but then thank God for all these platforms. Instagram is there, YouTube is there. So we were able to just, open her eyes to see that if you love cooking, then you are ready to just explode, because this is the method and then the ways. I think that they had already spent money, with some people who wanted to help them. But I say, don't rush, perfect your act. What are 3 menus that everybody will love? We get started here within that aspect. And I think that when people are held by their hands to just start to, take a baby step before they can grow, with each step, they have the confidence in them, and then they can become masters of their own destiny. So I would say that for any industry that has, even non-profits, still have an edge to it. Now they call something social impact, programs, right? And then those who put together change, entrepreneurship change. People can just set up maybe a village in the northern part of Ghana. Boreholes will be there. And I know a program in Ghana, they put 2-3 boreholes together, and one borehole is to do pure water. Ghana, those who are from Africa.
Yeah.
The missionaries built not only sustainability, even in entrepreneur. They teach the people how to just package the water and then sell it, so that whenever any machine breaks down, they can repair it and then not depend upon outside help. So there are so many ways. Yes, just packaging things, and not everything is the same. But then when it comes to economics, there's a niche, there is ideas, and then those things that you can present that everybody else will be clamoring for it. It's all in the packaging and branding. And then something comes in, is the differentiation. That's when you are getting into a little bit. I will sell soda, but I'll sell soda with maybe coffee. I think sometimes when you differentiate yourself, you set yourself apart. Even if it's a common product, everybody will be looking at yours, than looking at the masses. So these are the basic things.
Just like this show, we said our part is we are unscripted.
Say it again.
I said, just like this show, we are unscripted.
Exactly. And, you'll be looking at this show. I hope you guys are recording, but it will come to a time when it will explode, because they will say, oh, let's go to this show, and we are going to tap into free ideas.
It's already exploding. That television channels have been reaching out to us for at least a year now, and we just haven't had the chance to respond. And you're going to make that happen. So you're going to make that happen, Reverend Michael, because we've been doing this for 6.5 years. We have the best.
Are you serious?
Journalists.
Wow.
Nia Song is a former professor of journalism and the first, iconic Anglophone journalist from Cameroon. He's amazing. And so anyway, we're going to talk after this. I just want you to know that. So we're not wasting our time again. And
I feel, Reverend Palm, I feel so flattered every time you talk about me.
No, you're going to make that happen. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life and the power of the tongue. So
she spoke it.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes to the top of the hour.
Yes.
Our CFO and accountant is on here. Reverend Solange, we need to see your face.
Yes, well, we don't see her face yet. No, we
face.
see her name. We don't see her face.
You have been missing
so happy.
action. You have been missing in action, and
Yes.
you are our accountant. You are also my accountant, the best, both from the UK and the United States, a tax accountant. So we'll be hearing from you about this self-employment thing But before, right after the top of the hour, Reverend Solange, we're going to be hearing from you. But I'm about to share the anthem so Ambassador Lisa can be happy. Let's see here. Ambassador
Yes.
What about Mr. Presley? Is that Presley?
No, Ambassador Lisa Parks.
Okay.
Ambassador Lisa Parks.
Reverend Solange, come on, I need to see your face.
Oh my God.
How you gonna do this to me?
I don't want to
You've been
show my
gone for
face
too long.
today.
You've been gone for too
Dancing,
long.
wait a minute. Dancing prophetess. I need to introduce our dancing prophetess,
good,
Ruth
I'm
Presley.
good.
Prophetess Ruth Presley, our CFO, the dancing.
I'm fine. I'm just happy to see everyone today.
Good to see you.
Reverend Solange, before you came on board, I was telling Niason them. He made a mistake and mentioned here that he has a business.
Open and start a business.
I heard it. I heard everything. I first of all logged onto Facebook.
Okay. We will talk off the air.
Yeah.
All right.
It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, just give me a minute. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I'm trying to, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to play the anthem. Ambassador Lisa, just bear with me. It's 4 o'clock. I'm trying to play the anthem. And hold on, I'm just gonna go to a regular YouTube. I don't know what's going on. This thing is a little bit slow. You guys bear with me. I'm trying to pull up the anthem. So while I'm waiting for this thing to come on, I want to just share something, and I would like Reverend Solange, Reverend Michael, and Brother Rana to weigh in after the anthem. You know, a lot of our people give stuff on credit. I made that mistake when I opened my business, you know, and that creates problems, not just financial problems. It also creates problems from the people who are borrowing. The problem with people that like to borrow, they don't like to pay. And when you ask them to pay, when you ask them to pay, they're really good. Okay, when you ask them to pay, it becomes a problem, you know. So I would like for us to address that. But let me share the let me share the anthem. Hold on a second here. What is the anthem? Give me a minute.
Okay.
You guys bear with me. I have two screens open and I'm trying to hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Reverend Solange, it's your fault, you know, because you just came on. I don't have this issue sharing the anthem. Okay, are we on?
No.
What do you guys see on my screen?
We
This
see
is
somebody.
Some guy.
Not the usual.
It's more like a YouTube.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
There.
We got it.
Yeah, that's it. It was playing already.
Is it playing?
It was,
not.
but it stopped.
Africans for Africa, Africans for Africa, Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa, Africans for Africa, Africans for Africa. Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind Africaonline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey, Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does, to identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone. If we believe prosperity for Africans, if we believe medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. Africa is a cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. Jump on the Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. We are writing our own story, the truth, and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. Let me make sure I have stopped the
Hello.
let me make sure I have stopped the sharing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It looked like we lost Ambassador Lisa. So Reverend Michael and Brother Ronald, that's our anthem. We own full rights to it because I wrote that song. And one of our young men, the just keeper, composed it. So we have full rights to that song. I hope you guys are able to see the lyrics.
Yes.
It's a lot about what we are all about and how we feel about our continent. So next week, we are going to be talking about, Christmas is coming up. So we're going to be talking about Christmas. We wanted to tie it to another topic, but we have not confirmed the guest. So that topic is going to be pushed to the following week. We have just 2 Sundays to the end of this year. I would like to encourage everyone to participate. And this show is being streamed on Facebook. Reverend Michael, we've had almost March will make us 6 years, of doing this.
Wow.
And the first year and a half, we were doing teleconferences until we registered with Zoom. There's a lot of content that can transform our continent, a lot of ideas, that, people can tap into. Others have been doing that. We don't mind. You can copy what we do here. We're not complaining because there are people that you can reach, we cannot reach. But before I hand over the mic to our anchors, our CFO is here. I don't know why she is not showing her image. Maybe I don't know, but she's the best. She's a tax accountant, and she volunteers to handle all our accounting stuff and taxes for Africaonline. And she's self-employed. She also helps people to register their companies. So, Reverend Solange, we need to hear from you about this topic, being self-employed and entrepreneurialism. What kind of advice do you have? But I want you to also touch on our people giving stuff on credit. I think it's in Nigeria where they say, no credit today, come back tomorrow. When you come back tomorrow, it's still say no credit today, come back tomorrow. I personally have had very bad experience with giving people stuff on credit, so I had to separate the reverend from the businesswoman, because the reverend wants to give everything for free. I went into business because I wanted to help patients. That was the main reason why I went into the retail pharmacy business, which I'm no longer doing, but it was to provide free medications for indigent people for 90-day supply. I've done that for many years, both here and in the continent, especially in Nigeria. So you need to know what is your motivation. But I will tell you, in my case, these facilities, which were mostly psych facilities, were taking advantage of my compassion, because when a psych patient does not take their medicine, they can hurt themselves or hurt another patient or help a staff or a nurse. So I kept giving the medications, and the facilities are getting paid, but they never paid me. So I have, I'm not going to tell you the amount, but it's still outstanding, and it's a huge amount of money. So I want you, Reverend Solange, to weigh in on this topic.
Okay.
And also advise, apart from weighing, I will want you, Reverend Michael, Brother Ronald, to weigh in on giving people stuff on credit. Because I know it doesn't work, that's bad business. So over to you, Reverend Solange.
Hello, everybody. My name is Solange Gavis. I'm the accountant for Africaonline Media Corporation. I've been listening. Actually, I first of all went on Facebook because I was trying to get to my laptop for some reason. That's another story. So I did make a comment on Facebook. And first, when we talk of self-employment and entrepreneurship, I've been self-employed for like 25 years. And I always tell people this. Some people ask me, what's your secret to being successful? I say, I'm not going to tell you there's any secret. It's not easy. Before you begin to say, I want to be self-employed, first, let it be something that you like to do. Let it be something that you're good at. Let it be something that if they wake you up in the middle of the night, you can and ask for a question, you can answer positively and in a professional way. And I always tell people, if you're working for someone, before I decided to open my own accounting practice, I worked with different companies before I decided to go solo. First, you have to have like at least 6 to 12 months of savings in your bank account before you decide to open a business. Because initially, most of the time, the capital comes from your pocket. Unless you're lucky to get a loan from a bank, which is really not easy. Even when you want to get a loan from the bank, you ask you to write up a business plan, budgeting, forecasting, and you name it, it's a lot. And even then, you may still not get it. I remember going to the bank, asking them for just what I'll call it just right now in my life. Because I'll call it just, praise God. I was asking them for $25,000. I couldn't get it. I even went as low as like, could you just give me $10,000 to buy computers in my office? I still didn't get it. So my advice is
wrong skin color.
No, $10,000.
That is the truth.
I didn't get it right now. But I could write a check for $10,000 without blinking. So what did I do? I resorted in like this idea of, I looked around, I didn't have anything I could sell to raise capital. So what I did, I just started working on a shoestring. I first of all started sharing my office space with a friend. Because if you try to rent office space, just jumping into it, you make mistakes. Your rent will swallow you up. First, learn to share office space, if that's what it takes. With the savings that you've kept for maybe a year, that's what you're going to be using to catch up with utilities and so on. We always talk of pay yourself first. Sometimes that does not happen until after a year or two. But that also is very important. Pay yourself first. If not, you find yourself at the end of the year really strapped for cash. Then there's another thing. I mean, I know we are really running against time, so I'm just touching on some topics. Get a good bookkeeper. Initially, as a small business, you cannot afford a bookkeeper or an accountant. Buy one of those software in the supermarkets for like $200. Set up a spreadsheet for your expenses. Make sure you write down everything, because sometimes the IRS comes after small business like me and you. You see, most of the big businesses are lawyered up. They don't even look for them. So make sure you keep proper bookkeeping. You can use QuickBooks or spreadsheet just to know what you're spending and what is coming in. And talk about giving things on credit. My daddy told me something and I'll always remember. My dad told me that I should never borrow money I cannot afford to lose.
Yes.
And I've kept that, and I've told everybody that I come across. If someone asks you for $1,000, if you have $100, give it to them.
Give it to
You
them.
can afford to lose that, and tell them to look for the rest somewhere else. Do not do things on credit. But as a big business person, sometimes you cannot avoid that. You send out things, you send invoices and give them 30 days to pay, 60 days to pay. Sometimes that's not working either. A lot of businesses have gone under because of debtors. Debtors will drive your business down to the ground.
Yes.
Avoid that as much as you can. But in good faith, there's still some people that you can borrow, knowing that they're going to pay back. Otherwise, I discourage that strongly. I know at the end of the year, you can write off bad debts, but you don't want to be writing off bad debts. You need that money. Why go into getting bad debts in your business? So avoid debtors. Avoid giving things on credit as much as you can. I'll just stop there so far for today. And if anything comes up, then I can take it from there. Over to you, Niasa.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That is very important what you just said.
Actually,
Everything we said.
Reverend Michael and Reverend Brother Ronald were supposed to also weigh in on
this question. Yes.
Yes, and just so when I was speaking, I was muted. This is our show. We can extend it by a few minutes if we choose to do so. We're not on anybody's time. We're not renting anybody's time. It's our show. So we need Reverend Michael and Brother Joseph to weigh in before we continue with the rest of the panel.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of giving credit, I think that I don't sell things per se. I sell service. And I can just say without blinking that sometimes people who come to me are people that are so close to me, sometimes, familiar people. And in the beginning, putting the ministry and compassion together with my business, it's like, okay, when I don't know you, the least you have to pay to just get me along would be maybe $15,000 and a consulting or retainership. But no, I had a habit of, okay, this person is starting. Why don't I really lower myself so that at least the person can just, and I realized along the years that it cost me so much money and pain because they didn't seem to value what I was discounting.
Exactly.
For them. Yes. It is not a product, but it's a service. But the service is supposed to take you from 8 to 10. From 1 to 10. And I stick with you if you go to a lawyer, the retainership $5,000 every month.
Yes.
He wins a case, or
Yes.
you are going to pay, right? But people don't think about business development consultant, where you are trying to get the person to make money and put him in front of investors who will be actually interested. So I pity those who actually give things, things on credit. I think that even in business consulting, it becomes very difficult, when a friend or a friend of a friend comes to you and you have to charge them like an outsider. I've learned the hard way. And now it's also almost like, if you don't have it, let me sleep. And so that we can take it. So I don't advise that. And I think in our culture, some people are desperately trying to, let people see that they are doing business, especially in Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, they go and take all these things and go and just learn it out. And then, of course, many people have lost their capital because they were giving things on credit. And then the floodgates that were supplying them the things, is seized, because if you are not paying, nobody will throw bad money against another money. So I don't think that is what our people need to really focus on. If the person doesn't have money, then he doesn't have money. That's all that it is.
Okay, Reverend Michael, thank you so much. Before Brother Joseph weighs in, you touched on something and it hit a chord. A lot of times our people, I have experienced this and I continue to experience it, but I have drawn a red line. They feel entitled to our knowledge. My intellect has capital. I get paid because of my brain power and capacity. I don't have to sell products. A service is part of an offering. That's my product. Yes. And what I'm teaching you is going to save you thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you will make money from my knowledge, but you don't see the reason why you should pay me. I'll give you, it got to a point where as I speak, I have checks from a few clients that I cannot cash. I mean, I'm not gonna take them to the district attorney. They blame it on the pandemic. So I know that I will never get the money, so I've let it go. But I am not doing that anymore. I learned something from that, the fact that somebody gives you a check. So my payments are electronic. I don't take checks anymore. Our people feel entitled, and this is the thing. They will pay a white man 10 times what I charge them without even arguing.
Without even blinking.
Yes, without thinking about it.
I am smarter than the people that they pay. So our people need to learn. So it's not up to the clients to understand your value. It's up to us, we the providers of the service, to put our foot down and say, look, this is the value of my service. You pay it or you leave it. I had a client that I fired. I mean, I actually turned down a huge amount of money because of his attitude. First, when I told him my fees, the first thing was, oh, my sister, can you charge me? I said, no. I said, this is my fee, and it's cheaper than what the industry standard is. And even though he agreed to it, I was reluctant because I could just see that demon of entitlement coming, and I knew that I was not going to expose myself to being hurt anymore. And I decided not to carry out the project, even though I could have used the money. I just said, oh, I'm not going to do it. So we need to know our value and not let others determine our value. Brother Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to talk from a personal experience, and I'm going to touch on lending and borrowing money each separately. On lending money, I learned from a bad experience that to lend it, you will never get it back. But so what I would do is they would probably ask me for a certain amount, and I said, what I can do, I can give you this, and you don't have to pay me back.
That's what I said.
Yes.
From borrowing, what I had done from experience, from what my mother taught me, was that I would borrow on my savings from the credit union. That way my interest level would be low, and when I pay it back, I would be paying myself back. So it's kind of like leveraging. So that's what I do as far as borrowing. I don't get anything on credit or installment loans because it's so exorbitant with the interest rate. So I leave it at that.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. I have a question I want to ask. Oh my God, what was it? How do you feel about this? About spending other people's money? Meaning you have your own money in the bank. You need to do something. Instead of spending the money that you have taken out of your bank, you go to, say, taken out of your account, you go to the bank and take out a small loan. And then you're paying back that little bit. Yes, you're paying interest, but you're not taking this big chunk, say $10,000 to do some renovation. You're not taking this big chunk of money away from your money, but you're getting it from the bank and then paying it back a little bit at a time. How do you feel about that type of borrowing?
Who is the question directed to?
Ronald, then Michael, and then Reverend Solange.
Well, if it's a small amount and the interest is variable, I would use it.
You would spend other people's, what they call other people's money.
Other people's money, I would use it. But then again, only if it's not a burden to me. But I hate owing people and then getting into debt, even though they could probably write it off if I can't pay them back. But yeah, I would do it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Reverend Michael, spending other people's money.
I have a different idea.
The only time I would advise anybody, trying to go in for outside capital is when what the person is going to use the money for, we put it in the chain and turn it around and know that this is a very good investment and that is going to produce an outcome. That when you take away all the initial capitalization, you can actually pay back. If you are looking at maybe a 50,000 kind of, I will not advise anybody to go in there. But for example, somebody has a major project, and then the project has been designed in a way where it's going to produce, a lot of money in real estate development, in production. Everything that you see around here, there is not a millionaire that is just putting the money into some people's pocket. People design businesses and then approach institutions that they are investors. So I will not advise anybody go and get a little money here and little money here and then owe somebody or owe, hard money lenders. I will not advise that. But if you are putting together a project that, first of all, number one, it will employ more than yourself. Then number two, is going to turn out to become, you have to have equipment, you have to, that one, you cannot sit and save and then have $1 million or $500,000 and plus and make money. For example, some young guys has come to me, I think they said they knew me 5 years ago when I was doing something and they have patiently, been able to develop some very exquisite properties in Accra and sold them. So now they want to scale up and build a 38-unit apartment and then another 28-unit apartment. And they got together and they were LinkedIn. And I told the guy, well, how do you get to know me? Then he referred to me as a friend of mine that I helped 5-6 years ago. But where they are now, they can show that they are competent in trying to just, scale up. That one, asking for $5 million, $3 million with all the strict securities that are built with the banks and they call it, secure revenue accounts. Those things can be done and then the risk mitigation can be run. That one I will encourage anybody because there are institutional lenders that are also looking for good projects to put their money in. But not when you have these little things and you want to go and borrow and then worry yourself how to repay them. And even some of the projects, we just appoint a fund manager and then auditors. Cash in, cash out. Everything will be regulated. That one is different from maybe going to just borrow money whereby when the thing fails, you are going to lose your house or your asset or something that you have worked so hard to earn. That one, I don't encourage that.
Okay, thank you. One pro, one con. Reverend Solange. Spending other people's money.
Yeah, Reverend Michael just said it all. I just, sometimes we hear the phrase, oh, it's good to use other people's money to do your business. It's not that easy because people have been known to run into loan sharks in quest of trying to use other people's money. It's not that simple. Other people's money, these are banks. You're going to pay back with interest. Unless, as Robert Michael says, it's a big project with a huge collateral and you have something to show for it. Something that has a good turnover within a year. You're building this estate. You're going to get tenants in. You're going to sell some and pay back before the interest starts building up. I know people that took out loans, just the interest that they paid on the loans. It's really, for lack of a better word, killing their business. So we have to be careful. It's not every money that, oh, let's use other people's business. Let's get the money. It's a bank's money, yeah. But you're going to pay for it. And if you're not careful, that could run you. Why do people file for bankruptcy? Why do businesses file for bankruptcy? When they cannot meet up with their debts, especially bank loans. Majority of businesses that file bankruptcy is because they took a loan from a lender, financial institution, and they could not meet up payments. The interest was drowning them.
Wow.
And what do? They file bankruptcy. So we have
23% on the continent.
Yeah.
23% on the average. That's what they charge on the continent. Stay away from them.
Some of them charge 30%. I've seen loan sharks around. I live in Houston, Texas. They charge 30, 35%. That is crazy.
Wow, that is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Paying in on spending other people's money.
Yeah.
It is now 5:30. And Reverend Pam, what are we doing? What do you want to do?
No, let's just take a round. You know, that would take us to about maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, before we take the round, I was having some computer issue during our top of the hour. I didn't get a chance to make my announcement. So may I make an
Please go ahead. And Niason will speak to our French.
Yes, he will speak to our French. Yes. Oh, wait a minute.
I thought I would not do that today.
Yes, you will. You will speak to our French audience today. I don't know. Brother Michael, what language you speak over there? You speak French too?
He's muted.
No.
He's muted. No, he's from Ghana. He's muted.
from Ghana.
You're mute. Oh, okay. I don't know what they speak in Ghana.
No, but he worked in Ivory Coast. He worked in Ivory Coast. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Unmute.
We cannot hear you.
I used to live in Ivory Coast, so that's where I pick up my French.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. So Africaonline has an ongoing fundraising project called Operation Borehole 55. It is our desire to see a borehole put in every country on the continent. There are so many places where our sons and our daughters are walking 5 miles to just get a bucket of water, of unclean water to bring back for their families. We have medical facilities that are approved by the government where there is no running water, but it is our desire to see a borehole put in every country on the continent that is not only going to be of benefit to the medical facilities, but to the villages and the people as well. So you can help us by donating any dollar, any rand, any shilling, any pound. All of it goes towards our borehole project. There is no administrative fees taken out of it. And you can visit us at africaonlinetv.org. Go to the donation and you will see, I'm not sure if we still have videos of the different countries that
they're still there, and our CFO is here. She's the one handling the money.
Yes, and she is here. You can go to YouTube and see Africaonline and to see some of the videos that were made from the different countries that were applying for the borehole. Thank God we had late breaking news about 2 weeks ago that our borehole project in Sierra Leone has been started. They dug and dug and dug, and I think it was only 3 or 4 times, and they found water. So our first project is on the way, but we intend to put 55 boreholes. So visit us again at africaonlinetv.org and make any amount of donation. It can be a one-time donation, it can be a reoccurring, it can be monthly, but whatever you choose to donate will be a blessing, and we thank you for it.
And Reverend Solange will send you a tax receipt. Go ahead, Reverend.
Yes. And
what is the cost of
that's
putting one,
deduct-
the average cost? I know every it varies country by country, but the
Well,
average cost of putting a borehole.
the lowest quote we got was 22,000 because we are doing a solar powered borehole. However, we had a miracle. Our administrator on the continent had a former colleague who watched our fundraiser last year and decided to give up his own payment. So he's gonna do this first borehole for 11,000, which is what we raised.
Okay.
So that was just for this borehole. So we are saying that 22,000 for each country because of the solar power that we're gonna power it. So.
Okay.
And
All
our boreholes will be free of government involvement, which is why there are solar panels.
Yes.
So if you desire to ask a question, again, Reverend Solange is here. If you need to ask a question, you can send an email to info@africaonlinetv.org, and we'll be so happy to answer your question. Again, visit us on YouTube, Operation Borehole 55, and you will see videos. You will see commercials by some of us, and you will see commercials of Desire, or not Desire, but the different countries that apply. We do not pick ourselves. We are not playing any favoritism. We allow the computer to, out of all the people who submitted, the computer picked the country. The first one that we picked, or the first one that the country picked, was not available because the UNESCO had already planned to do something there. So this was Sierra Leone, and we're happy to say that our first project is on the way, but we still need more financial help to see boreholes put.
And none of us here are from Sierra Leone. None of us are from Sierra Leone. So.
And none of us are from, none of us are from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for letting me make that commercial. And Niasom.
Merci beaucoup, madame. Nous vous prions de joindre Africaonline Media Corporation pour les projets d'adoption de Operation Borehole 55 que Africaonline Media Corporation réalise en Afrique. C'est pour donner de l'eau potable à des villages dans les différents pays africains. Le premier, pour vous informer, vient de commencer au Sierra Leone. Et nous vous prions de donner quelque chose pour qu'on puisse réaliser ce projet d'adduction d'eau potable dans les divers pays africains. Merci beaucoup. C'est sur notre website, africaonline.tv, pour donner votre peu de...
Africaonlinetv.org. Yes.
Africaonlinetv.org pour faire votre contribution. Merci beaucoup et prochainement.
Thank you.
All right. The last word.
Oh, okay. Is it time for the last word? Okay.
It's more than time.
Yes. The last word, and we're going to start with Reverend Ruth.
Can you unmute yourself, please, Sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I heard Reverend. I like,
Maybe I misidentified you. Sorry.
There are too many reverends on this show.
She's
today.
a reverend. She's a reverend through and through.
Okay.
Well, as always, I enjoy my time here. Real quick, I'm gonna share the story that I love. There was a company that had a trouble with their engine, and they had to call an expert in because they didn't know what to do. And the expert came in, looked at the engine, and tapped on the engine twice, and it worked. He sent them a bill for $500.
Intellectual capital.
And the guy said, well, what did you do? I mean, why are you charging? We need an itemized bill. So he sent him a bill back that said 2 taps, $1 each, $498 for knowing where to tap. And when you have a business and you know where to tap, then you need to charge the money because you have put your time, your energy, and your own money
your
to reach
intellect.
that expertise. So I just love that story, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And please, we know you never miss. Always be with us. Thank you very much. We'll turn to Reverend Solange. We miss you a lot, but it's good you're here today.
No, I'm back. Okay. On our borehole 55, I want to add that we are a 501c tax exempt corporation, and every donation you get to deduct that. For those people that are in the United States, you deduct that. That gives you a tax break. So please donate for this worthy cause. so we can put boreholes in all the 55 nations of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll turn at this time to our brother,
Ronald.
Ronald.
Yes.
Brother Ronald. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay, thank you. I really learned a lot from this program, and I can't wait to come back next week if you have.
Awesome.
So
Great.
thank you, Prophet Lisa, for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you too very much, and see you next time around. And we will turn to Reverend Michael. You have enough time to wrap up your ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Ambassador Lisa, for introducing me to this very dynamic and wonderful platform. I have to confess something. I've always moved away from this African thing, diaspora sort of thing. It doesn't go anywhere, and sometimes you give everything out. But one thing that really is exciting about this group is that it's you are framing it to become solution, oriented.
Yes.
And that is why I'm excited that whichever topic that comes on is trying to solve a problem. Because living here, we have come to know why the advanced country, the engine works. Whether the Democrat or Republican, the engine works. But Africa, the engine stops when another party is moving away. But I think we are the engine of change. And I believe that once we keep on introducing topics that are relevant to the development of Africa, one day we are going to see it there. So thank you all very much for humbly inviting me.
Awesome. Awesome. Before Ambassador Lisa speak, I gotta say something.
Sure.
Reverend Michael, our motto is awareness, solutions, and progress. The motto for Africaonline Media Corporation. That came straight from our Father in heaven. Nobody, he just uses somebody like me to say things like that. But we raise awareness about issues that affect Africa and Africans. And when we say Africans, we mean all people of African descent. We seek solutions to those issues and we make progress. So what you said, you hit the nail on the head, and everything you see here is organic. We don't copy anything from anybody. That's why we're unscripted, and so I just wanted to appreciate you. You're in the right place and we're gonna move this forward. We are bringing Africans online, and thank you for coming online with us. Niaso.
Thank you very much, Reverend Ambassador Lisa. Yes, Ambassador Lisa.
We're talking about entrepreneurship and self-employment. You must have a dream in order to have a business, and know that just because you have a dream does not mean you run out tomorrow and start it. There is a planning in between. We say all the time in the Christian world that between the go and the go ye, there is a plan. Just because it's not written there does not mean that God did not have mean for you to stop, think, plan. So if you have a business and a business idea, don't think that you can jump and do it tomorrow. You can't even do it next year. Take time, get the education that you need, get the tools that you need in your tool belt before you run out there to try and do plumbing with an empty tool belt. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And now, Reverend Pan.
Yeah, on behalf of Africaonline Media Corporation, I want to thank all of you, my brothers and sisters. You guys are amazing. African people rock, Black people rock. I'm so Black and proud. I am Black inside out, nothing against anybody. I'm just happy with who I am. If I were to come back again, I'll come back as an African woman. I would just like to encourage every Black entrepreneur, adopt one brother or sister who is trying to do a business and mentor them. They don't have to repeat your mistakes.
That's right.
Please, they're not gonna steal your customers. You have nothing to lose. You never know. You never know what God will use this person tomorrow to do for you or the continent. So adopt one person and mentor them. Niaso.
Thank you very much. As I nosed around for information about getting this out of the way, I had this phrase, which I forgot to quote. Well, the entrepreneur always searches for change, responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity. A person who sees a problem is a human being. A person who finds a solution is a visionary. And the person who goes out and does something about it is an entrepreneur. So please let us go forth, all wishing that we're entrepreneurs and that we're able to make change, not change anyhow, but change that will come and last and help change the face of Africa. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Next
Thank
Sunday,
you. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Eastern Standard Time.
Everyone.